The transport vessel's emergency pod screamed through Kepler 442b's atmosphere, carrying 23 xenobiology students and one teaching assistant. When it crashed into the dense purple canopy, Professor Violentha's carefully planned field trip became a fight for survival. Zara Chen unbuckled herself from the harness, ignoring the throbbing in her shoulder. Around her, her classmates, Vrillin crystalline forms, gossamer-winged ethery, and amphibious quellin, were in various states of panic. The Vrillin students' normally steady bioluminescence flickered erratically. The ethery hovered in tight, anxious circles. "Everyone alive?" Zara called out, her voice cutting through the chaos. "The distress beacon is damaged," wheezed Kelroth, a quellin whose skin had turned a sickly gray. "Our moisture suits won't last more than 2 cycles in this humidity." Zara pushed open the buckled door and stepped into hell. The jungle was a suffocating wall of violet vines and crimson fronds. Bioluminescent fungi cast everything in an eerie glow. The air was thick enough to chew. While her classmates remained huddled in the pod, debating rescue protocols and survival statistics, Zara grabbed the emergency kit and started moving. She'd grown up in the Amazon basin back on Earth before the floods. This might be an alien world, but biology followed patterns. She selected a long piece of debris from the pod, jagged metal with a decent edge. Within an hour, she'd cleared a small perimeter around the crash site, cutting through the thick vegetation with methodical efficiency. The Vrillin students watched in fascination as she worked, their lectures on primitive tool usage suddenly very relevant. "What is the human doing?" whispered Aelith, an ethery who'd never seen manual labor. "Surviving," Kelroth replied, his respect evident. By the second day, Zara had expanded the clearing significantly. She'd identified 3 water sources, 2 streams, and a vine that wept clean liquid when cut properly. She taught the others which fungi were safe to touch and which would burn through their emergency suits. "Your species really evolved on a death world," Velroth, one of the Vrillin, observed as Zara demonstrated fire-making using the pod's battery and some dried fronds. "Earth? Yeah. Everything that wanted to eat you, poison you, or both." Zara grinned, feeding the small blaze. "Makes you adaptable." The third day brought rain, torrential, warm, and endless. While the others despaired, Zara constructed a shelter using broad leaves, flexible branches, and emergency tarps. She showed the quellin how to dig drainage channels. She taught the ethery to weave waterproof barriers. "On your world, did everyone possess these skills?" Aelith asked, struggling with the weaving pattern. "Not everyone, but we all had the capacity to learn. Humans are generalists. We're not the strongest or the fastest, but we're stubborn, and we figure things out." By day 5, their camp looked almost comfortable. Zara had built 3 separate huts, one for the Vrillin who needed darkness, one for the quellin who required moisture, and a general shelter for the others. She created a systematic approach to food gathering, water purification, and waste management. On day 6, she climbed the tallest tree she could find, a towering behemoth with bark that shifted colors. At its crown, she built a platform and prepared the signal fire she'd been planning. Green branches for smoke, reflective panels from the pod arranged to catch sunlight. When the rescue ship finally appeared on day 7, following the distinctive smoke pattern, the captain was shocked. The planetary report had given them 3 days, maybe 4, before the students would succumb to exposure or predators. Instead, he found an organized camp with ration supplies, clean water, and students who'd learn more in 1 week than in an entire semester. "The human," Kelroth explained to the confused captain, gesturing at Zara, who was already helping pack supplies, "simply refused to die." Zara shrugged, slinging her improvised pack over her shoulder. "Where I come from, we've got a saying, adapt or perish. I prefer adapting." As the rescue ship lifted off, Aelith looked down at the jungle that had seemed so hostile days before. The human had turned it into a home. Perhaps, she thought, this was why humans were spreading across the galaxy faster than any other species. They didn't just survive hostile worlds. They thrived on them.